Hey everybody, and welcome once again to the J-Dub Show. Got my pimp hat on and my pimp hand strong. Got my cold Bud Light right here. Still waiting on my check. We're gonna have a pretty good podcast this afternoon. Pretty good. Well, tonight. Hell, it's nighttime. How's everybody out there doing? Hope everybody's doing good. Talk about a few things coming up. Tell a story or two. Got a little bit of Q&A at the end. Got a couple of questions in from some guys, so hopefully y'all will hang with me until the end, and we're gonna do some Q&A. Talk about it. Answer some questions. See what people got on their mind. Swig of cold beer. That's good. Well, look here, before we get going, a couple of things I want to do. We got to talk about some sponsors. They're the ones that keep the balls rolling. We'd like to welcome our newest sponsor on board, PSB Industries. They're going to be on the ride with Raymond Miller on August the 29th at Dillon Motor Speedway. He'll be driving the level 1 entry. And for those of you out there that don't know what PSB does, I really didn't either until I got to talking to these guys. But man, they're actually a pretty big company. They do a lot in building vessels, boilers, that sort of thing, air drying. They got a 350,000 square foot facility. Man, they can take care of any kind of basically anything to do with any gas, air, fabrication of industrial products, from absorption to compressors, pump skids, pipe racks, burners, you name it, they can do it. Check it out. Probably the biggest thing that they would have that the racing community might be interested in is air dryers for your air compressor. They have refrigerated and heated air dryers, so you keep all the moisture out of your tools and that good stuff. So swing by their website, just Google PSB Industries, check them out, see what they got going on. I also want to throw a shout out to the Snap-on tools. Make the best tools in the world. Most of our track boxes, garage boxes, and boxes in the shop are outfitted with Snap-on tools. They make the best product there is on the market. We're running one of their big Snap-on air compressors, and man, there's some days that we're grinding and sanding and using all kinds of air, a large volume of air, and man, that compressor keeps right up with us. Also got one of their big muscle MIG welders. We literally use that thing, everything from tacking sheet metal to welding chassis back together to, fixing the trailers, whatever. That thing can handle it all. So, go online, Snap-on's website, get the hookup there, or see your local dealer. Alright, now we got that out of the way. Talk a little about what we had going on. We've been doing a little bit of racing, a little bit of testing, that sort of thing. Last time I did a podcast, it was pretty much strictly on driver development. It must have been working. Seems like the emails and the responses we get to our development program, guys are a little more informed on the front side, which helps us out. It gets a lot of information out there before they ever contact us, so they kind of know what's going on. And like I said, by the time that they're getting in contact with us, most guys kind of know what everything's about, and we just talk about more of the detailed situation, get guys scheduling test sessions, whatever they want to do. So that's where it seems to have worked out pretty good. We'll leave that thing floating out there. If you guys out there know anybody that been talking about potentially checking our driver development program, wanting to come do test evaluation, just whatever. Point them in the direction of the driver development podcast. It's on YouTube. If you go to our Facebook page, I usually post every podcast once it's uploaded, so you can find it on there as well. And most of the time, Twitter. Find us on Facebook, Level 1 Motorsports, Twitter at Level 1 Motorsports. Check us out, keep up with us, that sort of thing. On that note, the numbers of people checking out this podcast has been growing every week. I appreciate each and every one of you guys out there listening. Every single one of you. Man, we just want to keep growing this thing and get it bigger and bigger and bigger so that we can get on a bigger platform, cover more area, and be able to do some different things and some cooler things and make it even more entertaining. Doesn't cost you a dime. We're not asking for nothing. We're not doing GoFundMe, nothing. Just check us out. Pass the word. That's all we're asking. Listen to it. If you like it, keep listening. If you don't, what the hell's wrong with you? No. You should like it. Tell your friends. Tell your neighbors. Tell your buddies at the track. Check out the J-Dub show. Try to do one every week. Sometimes it's a week and a half in between them. I get kind of busy, but I try. Swig a Bud Light on that one. I just kind of thought I'd talk, just, whatever comes to mind. Got a little, going through my mail a couple days ago. Just so you guys in the Charlotte area know, Gavel Auction got an auction coming up. Those of you in the racing community and the, or surrounding Charlotte area, all that stuff. I'm sure you guys have been to Gavel Auction, yada, yada, yada. I got my postcard from them. Looks like they got a few odds and ends they're going to have. I see a press, a shop press. Everybody can use that. 4-post lift. Looks like a drill press. A half-finished chassis of some description. It's like maybe a surface plate and some other odds and ends. But I tell you what I also see. I see a stump shear. I could use that. So I'm going to try to go. I'm going to try to buy it. But if I ain't there, y'all let me know what it goes for. I'll be sick if it goes for cheap. If I am there, don't bet against me. What the hell's wrong with you? I need that. Nah, seriously. I'm going to go check it out. See what it looks like. See what all kind of other stuff they got there. I bought and sold, thousands of dollars worth of merchandise with Ron over there at Gavel Auction. They do a pretty good job. MCS Auctions in Mooresville, they do a pretty good job selling decent stuff. And they're not giving me a dime to pimp that. I'm just putting out my personal opinion that both of those do a good job. I got a little magazine gimmick here from Z-Max Dragway / Charlotte Motor Speedway. Went to the 4Wide Nationals here back in the spring. I'm a huge NHRA fan. I can go and watch those races and just be a fan and don't feel like I should be working. And I really, really like what they have going on. Sounds like, I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with any of the goings on with NHRA. It sounds like they're getting ready to make a bunch of changes for Pro Stock next year. Going to fuel injection. No hood scoops. A few other odds and ends. They're going to change. Hey, if it puts the ass every 18 inches, I say let's do it. What else we got going on here? Got some coupons for all kind of stuff. Can Gordon add to legacy with third Bank of America 500 win? I don't know. That's a tough one. Erica Enders is eager to defend her title. I'm sure she is. She's a good little racer. She is a good little racer. Let's see here. Hey, we can sit in the top eliminator club for a $99 upgrade. Might have to look into that. They got monster trucks going on. Man, they got it all going on up there. I don't even know what all they got. Got the auto fair in September. I don't know how many of you guys ever been to the auto fair there. That's pretty cool. You know, I'm into other than the racing stuff. I'm also into hot rods and rat rods, stuff like that. That's a pretty cool place to go find some parts and whatnot. Although some of them people fell and bumped their heads for what they want for that stuff. But it's fun to walk around and look. Maybe find some things you need. Buy some things you don't need. And go from there. Yeah. Oops, my bad. Another swig of beer. I tell you what, it's been a rough week. We've been putting in a lot of hours down at the shop, getting ready for that big grind towards the end of the year. Got several races coming up, back to back to back. It's gonna be tough, but we're gonna be able to handle it. Might have to burn a little midnight oil every once in a while. So thought I'd share a little story with you guys. Put a little something on you. I don't know how many of you guys remember back when they had the Bush East and the Bush West. They even had Bush North too, but they didn't have Bush South. I don't know what happened to Bush South. We got shafted, I guess. But anyway, I went and worked an exhibition race in the Bush Far East. The Far East. Over in India. Shipped all these race cars over on boats and such. Got a bunch of local hot shot drivers from India to drive these things. And I was one of the handful of guys they sent over to crew chief the deal. And I get over there and they tell me who I'm going to be working with. And you'll never believe who it was. It was the Dalai Lama. Crazy. So we run the race, you know. He's okay, you know. We got a top 10 out of it. You know, he finished 8th. That's a good run. He ain't good on breaking down what the car is doing, you know. Tight end, loose off. That's about all he knows. But, hey, we were able to make some adjustments. Change a little tire pressure here. Took some wedge out, got it turning a little freer. Raised the track bar up just a little bit. Got it through the center of the corner. Got us to 8th place with the Dalai Lama. And it was my understanding that the local drivers were going to pay our salaries, or their sponsors would, I should say. So this cat gets out of the car, changes clothes, and he's ready to leave. He's ready to go back to the top of the mountain. Get on his camel and ride to the top of the mountain. And I said, "Hey, whoa, back up, player. How about a little something for the effort here? It's been a long day, a couple of days." So the Dalai Lama, he looks at me. And he says, "There will be no pay. There will be no money. But on your deathbed, you will achieve total consciousness." So hey, I got that going for me. A little something to look forward to. Oh man, I may or may not be full of shit, in case y'all wondering. All right, let's slide right on into the Q&A here. We may try to keep keep this podcast a little short. I haven't been doing too good on keeping them short. I usually get into running my mouth and just lose track of time. Did that ever happen to you? You're hanging out with your buddies, your friends, maybe drinking a cold Bud Light. Next thing you know, 3 hours later, maybe your wife's mad at you, maybe your girlfriend's mad at you. Anyhow, let's slide right on into it. Alright, one of the questions that I got, actually I got it from a couple different people. It was worded a little differently, but basically, hey, same question. Want to know about roll centers. How do you measure it? How do you change it? On the front, what's the difference between having roll center more to the left, more to the right, lower, higher, that kind of thing. Okay, this is going to be a little hard to describe over audio, but I'm going to do my best. And for the sake of this conversation, right now we're going to just concentrate on front roll center. Rear roll center is actually a little bit simpler. We may get into it. If we don't, Google it. I'm sure somebody will, thinks they know what it is anyway. But the front, I'll make sure everybody gets a firm grasp of the front. The front roll center is the point where your suspension pivot points intersect, if that makes sense. You can take your right upper ball joint, and you can't really do it, but just imagine this in your mind. And they have software programs where you can do some measuring and put it in your laptop, and it spits out your roll center numbers. You can actually do it with a tape measure and some paper. It's, but basically it's the pivot point of your upper ball joint. Let's say your right upper. Draw a line through that, through the pivot point where it mounts to the frame, down through the lower control arm pivot point, down to the tire. Going from right upper to left lower, if that makes sense. And the other side, left upper, an imaginary line through all your pivot points down to the right tire at the bottom. Where those two lines intersect is your front roll center. Now, that point can be changed to be more to the right, more to the left, a little higher, a little lower. The two easiest ways to change your roll center, probably the easiest way without having to go through and really kind of disturb a whole bunch of stuff, is by the height of your ball joint. A taller or shorter ball joint will change your roll center. Another way is to raise or lower the attaching point where the control arm bolts to the frame, because that's the pivot, up or down. But you got to be a little bit careful there, because it can mess with your anti-dive a little bit. It will definitely change your camber a little bit, and your camber sweep will be a little bit different if you do it like that. Well, okay, it's going to affect your camber sweep at the ball joint too, but it just doesn't seem to be as abrupt as if you change where the control arm mounts up. Either way is fine. You just got to be sure that you go back through and kind of remap your stuff and check your front and make sure you didn't get way out in left field on your other settings. High or low is going to be you know, that's going to be a lot of track specific, chassis specific stuff. Well, left and right is too, but left and right can be broken down a little bit simpler so that you can grasp it. This is how it was kind of put to me years and years and years ago, and it kind of stuck in my head, and I'm easy to make, and I'm able to make sense of it this way. If your roll center is more, picture your chassis, your front end as a jack handle, and the more to the left your roll center is, the longer that jack handle is, and the more mechanical leverage the car would have on it, and is able to roll over on the right side. Or I shouldn't say roll over. Well, it is roll over, but compress. That's probably a better word. Compress on the right side. Consequently, if your roll center is to the right, that effectively makes that jack handle shorter. And consequently, it's harder for the right side to compress. In really vague terms and very generic terms, typically a dirt car will have a roll center more to the left, and a pavement car will have one more to the right. The up and down has a lot of factors with it, but that's the simplest way to understand it. There again, there's been books written on the subject. Check those out or whatever. But that's the gist of it right there. And there's a lot of speed to be found in knowing where your roll center is. It's one of those things where a lot of times, getting it optimum may not, that within itself may not be a huge pickup, but if it's really out of whack, if you're really out in left field on your roll center, it could be a huge deficit. So it's one of those things. And just while we're on the front end of the car, don't just set your static camber and let it go. Always fully sweep your camber. You want to know what your camber change is all the way through your suspension travel. You can yank the springs out of it and do that. Yank the springs out, put the car on ride height blocks, and just put a jack on your control arm, put it at your starting point, sweep it through, figure out your camber gains, camber loss, that sort of thing. So always check all that, and it's not a bad idea to check your toe through its travel too. A lot of people would call that bump steer, which it is, but bump steer is kind of a finite adjustment. You just want to make sure your toe's not going way out of whack. I'm not saying don't check your bump steer, but that's, like I said, that's kind of a finite adjustment. If you're not really 100% sure what you're doing, then just go kind of generic and kind of basic with it, and then as you learn, you can go back and change things and adjust things. My son's down here. Come here, bud. What do you need, bud? I'm going to bring him over here and see what he needs. What you got, little man? Huh? Okay, I'll be up in just a minute, bud, okay? Alright, wild man. Alright, sorry about that. I'm back. Obviously, I don't know how to pause this. Okay. Another question I got was rear spring splits. How does that affect the handling of the car? I'm not going to get into specific spring rates and that sort of thing because that's track and car specific. If you want to shoot me the details about your car, its weight, corner percentages, that sort of thing. As much information as you can about the car, a little bit about the track you're running on. I can make some suggestions for you. But for the purposes of what we're doing here, guy just want to know the split in your rear springs. How does that affect it? This is it. In generic terms, the heavier the right rear spring or the lighter the left rear spring, the more it helps the car turn, especially in rear steer. And rear steer is a whole other subject. So the higher the split, the more it helps turn. The lower the split, the more it helps tighten the car up. In general terms, and this is something I really don't understand why a lot of local Saturday night guys don't use these more, because it's super cheap, it's super easy, and it's super fast. Is spring rubbers. Man, if we use spring rubbers a lot. In fact, if we go to somewhere like Martinsville or Loudon or Iowa, especially a short track, not too much intermediate tracks, mile and under, we can have up to 2 spring rubbers in each rear spring. We can't put any in the fronts at all, but we'll have like 1 full rubber in each rear spring, and then like 1/2 rubber in each, and then 2/4 rubbers in each, so that we have a ton of adjustability. Because if I think we can make and if we have the time, which we usually do, I prefer to do either spring rubber or air pressure if I think that's gonna help it. If the condition's severe enough to where we do have to do wedge in, wedge out, or cross in, cross out, however you want to look at it. I like to refer to it as cross, but everybody under the free world calls it wedge. That's fine. We do that obviously, and we do it a lot. But ultimately, that does affect the rest of the chassis a little bit, to where the spring rubbers in the rear doesn't really seem to affect the rest of the truck or car. And of course, we use track bar too. You got to be careful with track bar though, because that is how you set your rear roll center, is by your track bar. Generically, the more you raise the right side, the freer the car gets. The more you lower the right side, the tighter it gets. But you can get the front and rear roll centers way out of whack like that. There again, in my mind, if we have time on a pit stop, spring rubbers are my first go-to choice. And then, if it's severe enough, wedge or cross, and then, track bar up or down. But to answer your question, the bigger the spring split, the freer the car. The tighter the spring split in the rear, the tighter the car. There you go. Swig of beer. Just let all you guys out there know, if you're in our area, we do setups on about any type of race car. We do some stuff with some dirt guys, obviously some asphalt late model, that sort of thing. We do setups, chassis repairs, anything like that, bodies, stuff like that. We do in our shop, as well as race our own stuff. So, look us up, level1motorsports.com, Facebook, Level 1 Motorsports, Twitter, @Level1Motorsports. Oh, and let me touch on this a minute. Every once in a while, somebody will email us and go, "Hey, man, how long you guys been around? I hadn't heard of you." And I'm like, "Well, how long have you been under your damn rock?" I mean, obviously, we're not Hendrick Motorsports, but we're all over the place. Website, Facebook, Twitter, we post races, race results. I do this podcast. We've got some videos out there. You Google Level 1 Motorsports and tons of things come up. So, and I don't know. Do a little research. I don't know what to make you feel better. But we're here offering our services, trying to grow our business as well as give back to the racing community as much as possible. I got a couple other questions on here, but they'll probably be a little bit lengthy in the answering of them. So I think we're going to stop right there for tonight. That's a pretty good place. I'm going to try really hard to keep these podcasts in the 30-40 minute range. There again, guys, if you're listening to this, thank you. I appreciate it. Jim appreciates it. Our potential future podcast partners appreciate it. We're really trying to drive our listener numbers up. That's going to make everything roll with this. It's only going to get better. Right now, I realize it's not the most highly produced thing you ever heard in your life, especially just me sitting around in my mouth, maybe having somebody on here. But to me, that's the charm of it, if you will. It's just me, my thoughts, my opinions, talking to my people, racing folks. We're all racing folks, and that's what I enjoy, is just sitting down talking to you guys and just letting you know what I got on my mind. One other quick thing before I go away. Everett Lentz, Lentz Creative, does our website, logo design, stuff like that. Lentz Creative, go check it out if you need a website. He's doing, tell you what, his business is picking up. He's doing a lot of NASCAR Truck Series teams and drivers websites. Check him out if you need anything. But the original point of that story was that Everett came down and turned some laps with us last Sunday. First time ever in a race vehicle, as far as I know. I don't think we could have slapped the smile off his face. Looked like he had a really good time. I was super happy that we got to do that for him. He does a really good job for us, and I was happy to get him in the truck and turn some test laps. And we're also, we're gonna put him in a late model race of some description here before the end of the year, and get him out there with some other idiots and let him get the full effect. So if you know Everett, if you see him, ask him about it. I'm sure he'd be happy to tell you all about it. If you need any website, logo designs, graphic stuff done, Lentz Creative. It's on our contact page on our website, and I think his little logo is down at the bottom of the page too somewhere. But his contact information is on our website on the Contact Us page, as well as the driver development information. If you or somebody you know is interested in it, point them towards that. Go look at that. Check the driver development podcast out I did. I think that's probably where we're going to end it this week. Hope you guys enjoyed this latest edition. Please check back for the next one. Tell your friends, tell your mama, tell your preacher, tell your wife, tell your girlfriend. Just don't tell your girlfriend to tell your wife, and you'll be okay. Spread the word. We ain't asking for no money. We just asking for a little love. That's all. Check us out. See what we got going on. All right, well, that's it. You guys take it easy out there. I'm going to go change the channel on my son's TV. Catch y'all down the road. This is J-Dub. I'll see you ass at the track.